Hello students, welcome to our new lecture. We were covering the memory interfacing with 8051 in our fourth unit, and in our last lecture we have covered a lot. We have read about the connection with RAM ROM, how to connect the external memory. We have understood how to define the memory. Fine, and this was an important part, that how to define the memory, how to define the organization memory of the memory, and what are the number of address lines which are required to connect the memory. Fine. And then we have read some types of ROM, so it's not important because it is not a part of your syllabus, so you can skip these slides also. If anybody wanted to read, they can read, otherwise you can skip the types of RAM, the types of ROM. Fine. And then we have come to this place directly, that how to connect the how to connect the external memory to 8051. See, we have seen that when we are connecting the external memory to 8051, when we are trying to connect the external memory to 8051, and if we know that let's say if there are the memory is 8 kilobits. Fine. 8 kilobits means it needs how many address pins? It needs 2 to the power 3 multiplied by to the power 10. That means 13 address lines. It needs 13 address lines. We're just revising. It needs 13 address lines. So we have port 0 and port 2, which are used as address lines. Fine. So port 2 works as lower 8 bit. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. These 8 address lines starting from AD0 to AD7 would be connected here, and we need how many address lines? 13 address lines. So 8 already connected. How many remaining? 3 to 5 remaining. So the 5 lines of port 0 would be connected to the address lines of this memory. This is 8051. Fine. Now how many remaining? Out of 8, 5 are engaged here, so 3 are remaining. 3 address lines are remaining. What we will do, we will use this 3 address line to select this chip. As I have already told you in my last video lecture, that we need to connect n number of address lines. We need to connect n number of memories to a particular microcontroller. It's not like a one microcontroller will use only one external memory. It can use n number of external memory depending upon the type of application. Fine. So how to choose that which external memory need to be accessed? So what will 8051 will do? 8051 will use the remaining address lines. Some of the address lines should be connected to the memory chip. Fine. The remaining address lines will be used to select these chips. Fine. So whenever 8051 wants to access any of the memory, what it will do, it will put the address, a particular address on this address lines, and the address should be something like that these pins which were free will be used to select these chips. Fine. This is the use of this is how the 8051 will be connected to external memory. Now we have already learned in this these things in the last class, that while using the remaining address pins for selecting the chips, we can use simple logic gates. We can use this decoder, 74LS138 decoder, and some programming logics also. So we'll study these two things in this lectures, that how to use these two things to connect our external memory. Fine. So let's move forward. We have already seen this example. I'll review for you. Just a second. Yeah, what has been given? It has been given that there is a memory of size 4 kilo multiplied by 8. I think as of now this is very clear to you. That is what is 4k multiplied by 8? 4k multiplied by 8 memory means 4k multiplied by 8. It means you have 2 to the power 2 multiplied by 2 to the power 10. That means 2 to the power 12. You need 12 address lines. That means you have 4k locations. This memory will have 4k locations. I have explained this theory very clearly in my last video lecture, that 4k will mean that there are 4k locations in this memory. Fine. So if there are 4k locations, then how many address lines will be used to access each location? That will be 2 to the power 12. That means 12 address lines. What is 2 to the power 12? 2 to the power 12 is 4 kilo. So 12 address lines would be used to access this memory. Fine. Now but what happens when you connect 8051 to this? When you connect 8051 to this, 8051 has how many address lines? It has 16 address lines. I'll again repeat, it has 16 address lines starting from AD0 till AD8, AD7. These are 8, and rest 8 are A8 to A615. So these are 16 address lines. Please remember, these are 16 address lines. AD0 to AD7, these are port 2, if I remember, and these are port 0. Fine. So AD means this can be used for address as well as data. Fine. So let's see how to connect it. Now since 8051 has 16 address lines, so out of those 16 address lines, this needs 12 address lines. This memory needs 12 address lines. So 12 address lines are directly connected to the address lines of memory. You can see here, these are 12 address lines of 8051. They are directly connected to the 12 address lines of memory. Fine. Now how many pins are remaining? How many address lines are remaining? There are 16 address lines. You have already used 12 address lines, so 4 address lines are remaining. What are those 4 address lines? Higher bit address lines would be remaining. Fine. So lower bit address lines starting from A0 to 11 are A11 are already engaged. So A12, A13 till A15. These address lines are remaining. So what we will do, we can directly use these address lines to select this chip. Fine. How to select this chip? We have a special pin on the memory. Please remember, we have a special pin on the memory which is known as chip select or chip enable. Sometimes it is also known as chip enable. And what type of signal it is? It is low signal, active low signal. What is active low signal? Active low signal means whenever the value or the signal which is coming to this pin is 0, then only it is active. That's why it is known as active low signal. Fine. So this is the pin which is in the memory, which is either known as chip enable or chip select. Fine. Now this is this chip select. You can see chip select. Sometimes it is also known as chip enable, and both are low. Both are low active. Low active means whenever zero signal comes here, then only it will become active. Fine. So what we have done here, how many address lines were remaining? A12 to A15, 4 address lines were remaining. So what we have done, we have connected those lines. See, we have connected A12 to A15 remaining address lines. Please leave this. We have connected the remaining address lines to a NAND gate. Fine. What will this NAND gate will do? Since to select this memory, we need a 0 signal. What we need? We need a 0 signal. And why we have used NAND gate? Because NAND gate produces a 0 signal whenever NAND gate produces a 0 signal when only when all the inputs are 1. All the inputs of the NAND gate are 1. Only in this case the 0 will be produced. So by selecting the appropriate address in the 8051, I'm again repeating, by selecting appropriate address by 8051, you can make these pins as 1, and what will it do? It will produce a 0 at the output of the address line, output of the this NAND gate. This is the NAND gate, and that will select this IC. Fine. So this is how the this is how the 8051 is connected, and this is how the it could be used to select the chip. Fine. So what I have explained how NAND gate is used to select the chip. What are the other ways? The other way is using this decoder. Fine. This is useful. This kind of logic, where we are connecting a NAND gate, with the remaining address lines. This is useful when you have a single IC, single external memory in the system. But what if you have n number of memories? Fine. What you have if you have n number of memories? For in that case, you need some more signals that can select the ICs. Fine. So from where you will get them, those signals? For in that case, you use this kind of decoder. So this is a decoder which is extensively used for the connection of microcontroller and the external memory. That's why we are taking this example. Although there are n number of decoders available in the market, but we are using this decoder just because this is extensively used with 8051 also. What is this decoder? This decoder consists of 3 input lines, A, B and C. These 3 input lines are decoded into 8 output lines, because 3 input lines can produce 8 output signals. Fine. 3 input lines can produce 8 output signal. This is why that is known as 3/8 decoder. This is known as 3/8 decoder. Fine. Now this, how to use this for connecting the external memory? What will be done? You have your 8051. The address lines which are used to connect to the memories, if you have n number of memories here, the address lines, these address lines will be connected to these address lines. Fine. These address lines will be connected to these address lines. The remaining address lines, for example, if there are 3 remaining address lines, let us take an example. You have 3 remaining address lines or 4 remaining address lines. Fine. What will you do if you want to select these ICs? You will use this decoder. How to use this decoder? The lower 3 bits of address, 4 are remaining, you will take only 3 because it is a 3 input. So lower 3 will be connected here. Fine. And the output pins will be connected to the CS. What is CS? Chip select pin of all the memory. Fine. Now chip select will be 0. Whenever this signal is 0, this will be selected. So depending upon the input, these lines will become 0, 1 at a time. Fine. And because of this 0, the particular chip would be selected. Fine. So 8051 will produce an address on these last 3 pins such that this chip would be selected. This is the role of a programmer, that if he wanted to use this chip, then that kind of signal should be given to the input, so that that particular output signal would be low and it will select that chip, and remaining should remain high. Fine. So how to achieve this? This is very simple. This is a decoder, and decoder will have only one signal as only one output signal as 1 at a time. Fine. Let us make it more clear. You have 3 inputs, A, B and C. So when A, B and C are 0, 0, 0, the first input would be first output will be selected, the first output will be 1. When the input are 0, 0, 1, the second output will be selected. When the input is 0 1 0, the second output will be selected. When the input is 0 1 1, the third will be selected. When the input is 1 0 0, the fourth one will be selected, or the fourth output will be 1. When the input is 1 0 1, the fifth one. When it is 1 1 0, the sixth one. When it is 1 1 1, the seventh one. The last one will be 1. So depending upon the input bits, for example, the input bits are 0 1 1. Fine. If it is 0 1 1, 0 1 1, we already know that 0 1 1 means what? It means 6 in decimal. So the sixth pin will be 1 high and remaining pin will be 0. This is how that particular pin will become high. This is the use of a decoder. Whoever have studied the digital control, they know, or whoever have studied the digital circuit and system, they know that how the decoder works. But for the new people, you can understand it like this, that whatever is the value of the input pin, the same signal would be become high. For example, I am again repeating, if the input pin is 101, 101 in decimal means how much? 5. Fine. So 5 means fifth pin will become high, and remaining all pins, this is not fifth pin, I'm sorry, this is fifth pin. First, second, third, fourth, fifth, this is fifth pin. Don't see this, this is the fifth pin, this will become high, and rest of the pin remains 0. Rest of the pin will remain 0. This is how a decoder works. Fine. Now, but this is a special decoder, this is not a simple decoder. The output pins are connected to a bubble kind of thing. This bubble, you can see this bubble. What does bubble means? This bubble means that whatever signal coming out from these pins, they are complemented. For example, if a 1 is coming out of from this, it will be 0. If 0 is coming out, then it will be 1. Fine. Why such a adjustment has been done in this decoder? Normal decoders does not operate like this. They will not have this bubble option. Normally, normal decoder do not have this option, this bubble. But for this decoder, this option has been done. Why? Because when we are connecting this to a memory, the chip select signal, the chip select signal is an active low signal, so it needs a 0. Fine. It needs what? It needs a 0 signal. So out of these all signals, only one should be 0 and rest should be 1. How to achieve this? What decoder was doing? Decoder was originally doing that depending upon the input signal, please listen it carefully, this is important. Depending upon the input signal, only one of the output pin became 1 and rest of the output pins are 0. But in our application, what we are doing? In our application, we are connecting these pins to the chip select signal of memories, and chip select signal of memories are only active when it is 0. So the requirement is that only one output pin should be 0 and rest of the output pin should be high. How to do that? Simply whatever output which is coming to this, you connect it to a bubble kind of structure. What this bubble means? This bubble means whatever is coming out, it is complemented. So definitely, since all are zeros, only one of the pin is 1. So since all are zeros, they will be converted to 1, and only one pin, that is equal to 1, this will be 0, and that 0 will be used to select the IC. This is the method. So fine, this is how this decoder is employed to be used for memory. Fine. You can also refer to this table. What this table says? This table says, please leave this as of now, I'll explain to you. This table says that when these pins, what are these pins? A, B, C or CBA, you can write it any way. When these pins are 0 0 0 0 0 0 the first pin would be selected. When they are 0 0 1, the second pin will be selected. When they are 0 1 0, that's the same I was explaining. 0 1 0 in decimal it means 2, so second pin would be selected. 0 1 1, fine, 0 1 1 means 3, so the third pin will be selected. How I am saying that it is selected? Because all are high. What are these? These are the output signals. See, these are the output signal. So all are high, all are high, all are high, only one is low, so that would be selected. Fine, this is the same thing which I am explaining, but in this table these two signals are extra, that is G1 and G2. What are these? These are nothing but the select signals, so I'm sorry, enable signals. Every chip, please remember, every chip in a system will have an enable signal. That since there are n number of things which are used in n number of ICs which are connected in a system, a computer system, so you need to enable each chip whenever they are used. So since similar to the memory, you know, memory, you have a chip select signal to enable this IC. Similarly, to enable this decoder IC also, you have three input signals. These are G2A bar, G2B bar and G1. To enable these, you can see there's one of this pin is active low. Active low means it needs a 0. Active low means it needs a 0 to operate or to enable. This G2B is also active low, this also needs a 0. G1 is active high, so it needs a 1. That means it will operate, this decoder will operate only when the enable signal is 0 0 1. Fine, so the same thing is given in the table. Let's see, the same thing is given in the table, that whenever G1 G2, whenever our requirement was when G1 G2, see, this is combinedly known as G2, so G2 should be 0 and G1 should be 1, then only it will enable. Let's see the table. G2 should be 0, so whenever the G2 is 0, L means 0, whenever G2 is 0, the operation is done. That means the decoder is enabled. And whenever, and G1 is high, and whenever G2 is high and G1 is either low or high, whatever it is, then the output will remain high. That means the chip will not become enable. This is what this table is saying. Fine, now you understood what does this decoder is doing. Now let's see the same connection which we have done with the this NAND gate. What we have done, our original example, we wanted to connect the 12 address pins. We have connected the 12 address pins. Remaining 4 address pins, which are this, are connected to the chip select signal. Fine, what if we wanted to use the decoder for selecting the chip? Then let's see. If we wanted to use the decoder, then what we have to do, we have to connect the remaining 4 lines, the remaining 4 address lines. Let's see, the remaining 4 address lines, this is the decoder, this is the decoder. The remaining 4 address lines, which are A12 to A15, are connected to the input pins of decoder, but input pins of decoder are 3 only. So what we have done, the 3 address lines are connected to input pins. 1 address lines, it can be A12 also, you can write it like this also, A12, A13, A14 and A15, you can write it like this also. So the remaining address lines, one of the address line, I mean 3 of the address lines are connected to the input of the decoder. 1 address line is remaining, that can be connected to the enable signal G2A, the enable signal of this decoder. And we need that this decoder should remain active. For that, this pin should remain 0, this pin should remain 1. So what we have done, since we have no more signal left, so we have connected permanently this signal to ground. Ground means 0, and we have permanently connected this signal to supply, that means 1. So this will remain 0, this will remain 1. That means decoder will remain active. And for that to remain this active, this signal should also remain 0. For that, A15 the address should always be 0. You understood? The 8051 will put the address on the address line such that the A15 should always be 0. Then only this decoder will be selected. And since we have connected the decoder, so we wanted the decoder to work. For that, the A15 pin should always be 0. This is the constant here. Fine. Now, A12, A13 and A14. We have connected the output Y4 to enable this chip. Now, remaining pins can also be used to enable other ICs, other memory ICs, but we have only one IC in the system, and that IC is connected to signal Y4. Fine. Now Y4 will become high, or that means active low. Y4 will become active low when you need not to go to that table again and again. You can just calculate here itself. Y4 will become active high when this is 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 0 1 1. Fine. What is 0 1 1? 0 1 1 means in decimal. This is 1, this is 2, this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. So 0 1 1 means 3. That means the third pin is connected to chip enable. 0 1 1 means this pin should be 0 1 1. That means the address, this should be 0, we've already understood. So this should be 0 0 1 1. This should always be 0 1 1, and rest of the address pins can be anything to select the bytes inside this memory. Fine. But only these pins should be 0 0 and 1 1, so that this signal could be selected. Did you understand this? I think this is now clear to you. Fine. Now let us move forward. There could be questions from this. For example, that if, let's say, if I wanted to find the address range. See, since 8051 supports 64 kilobytes of address, using the 16 address lines, it can support 2 to the power 16, that is 64 kilobytes of address. But what happens, it is not using the entire address lines. It is using either 12 address lines, and remaining address lines are used to select the chip. Fine. Since it is using only 12 address lines, so the address range, which was initially FFFF to 00000 to FFFF, now the address range has been reduced. Why? Because some of the address lines are used to select the ICs. Fine. So the range of address would be reduced. So this kind of question could be asked in your exams, that if you are using the Y2 pin of the decoder, then what is the address range? Fine. Since you are using the Y2 pin, let us take this example. If you are using the Y2 pin for what purpose? Y2 pin to select the ICs. Now if you are using Y2 pin to select the ICs, let us see this again. If you are using the Y2 pin, please listen this example carefully, as it could be asked in your exams also. If you are using the Y2 pin, you are using Y2 pin. Now let us see how many address lines are fixed. If you are using Y2 pin for this example, other example or other memory chips, it would be different. If you are using Y2 pin to select this kind of memory, this is 000, this is 001, and this is 010. Fine. So if you wanted to use Y2 pin, the input signal should be 010, and A15 pin is already 0. So you have a constant that these address line should be always 0010. Then only this decoder will be selected. Fine. So this is the constant, and this will define the address range. How? See, in the address range, let's see, in the address range you have the address pins from A15 to A0, fine. Yes, A15 to A0. Now the lowest address possible is all 000. This is the lowest address, fine. But decoder should remain active. To remain the decoder active, the A12, A13 and A14 pin should be 010, and A15 should be also 0. So this is fixed, it is colored blue. That means it should be 0010, and they can, all remaining pins can be 0. Now what is the maximum address? Maximum address can be when all the pins, all the bits of this address are high. But now also you have to select the decoder, so these pins should be something like this. So now what is the address range? When you convert this into hexadecimal, let's see what comes. When you convert this into hexadecimal, this is something like this: 0010. 0010 means 0010. 0010 means 2. 000, 000 and 000. That means 000. So 200. Starting address is all 200. It's written here 200. And now last address is again 2. This is F. This is F. And this is F. So last address is 2 triple F. So last address is 2 triple F. Fine. So please do this exercise, that how to calculate the address when you are using the decoder. Fine. A particular pin of the decoder. Fine. You're using pin number 2 here. Therefore, since you're using pin number 2, we'll again see if you're using pin number 2. That's why this is 010. If you are using pin number, let's say 4, you're using pin number 4. This is pin number 4. First, second, third and fourth. 0, 0th pin, first pin, second pin, third pin and fourth pin. If you're using this pin, then what will happen? It should be 000, 001, 010, 011, 100. It should be 100. Fine. I think now it is very clear to everyone. So you should exercise. You should do this exercise. These are the questions. You should do these questions. That if you are connecting your external memory to Y4, then what will be the address range? If you are connecting to Y2, what will be the address range, and Y7? And then once you do this exercise, it will be more clear to you. Fine. Now we'll move forward. Now other way, we have learned two ways of connecting the memory ICs. One is the using NAND gate, and other one is using the decoder. Fine. So other ways are using the programmable chips, but we will not go in detail because these are not normally used, so we will leave this. We will directly come to the 8031. Actually 8051 has n number of versions. When we were starting the course in the classroom itself, I have already told you that 8051 has number of versions depending upon the type of ROM on the chip. The 8051 have a ROM-less version where there is no ROM on the IC, that is known as 8031. 8031 doesn't have any ROM on the IC. Fine. And other pins also, other ICs are also there, like 8751. So 8751 has large amount of ROM on the IC. Fine. So depending upon the types of ROM, you have to use the external memory, or you have to connect the external memory accordingly. Fine. Depending upon the type of internal ROM the 8051 has. Fine. Now this is important. The 8051 8051 IC, the 8751 or 8031 type of IC. For all the ICs, for all the microcontrollers, there is one pin which is known as external access, EA, external access pin. Let's see, where is this pin? This pin is the pin number, see, this pin is pin number 31. This pin is pin number 31. What is it? It is external access pin. So pin number 31 is external access pin. What does this pin do? This pin is important when you are connecting the external memory. So external access pin will say that external access pin is an output pin which says that the external memory is connected or not. Fine. And I'm sorry, it is not an output pin, it is an input pin. So what happens whenever you connect an input 1 to it, then you are saying that the 8051 has to use the ROM which is inside the 8051, and when you are connecting this pin to 0, it means that you have to use an external ROM. You are using an external ROM. Fine. How does 8051 knows that you are the 8051 is connected to external memory or not? Fine. So this, what is the use of this external access pin? This is an input pin. I am again repeating. You connect this, you input a signal to it. If it is 1, this means it is using the internal ROM. The 8051 should use the code, should use the instructions which are saved inside the 8051 ROM. Fine. And if it is 0, that means all the program or all the instructions are saved in the external memory. This is the use of external access pin. Fine. So for all the versions of 8051, this should be remembered that external access pin should be connected accordingly. I am again repeating, if it is connected to 1, that means it is using internal memory. For code, remember, it is for code. Code means instructions. Where are the instructions saved? Fine. Now let's move forward. Now connecting the external memory. Fine. What happens when you connect the external memory? The address lines, I have already explained this thing. The address lines are, these are the address lines. Port 2 has port 0. Port 0 has address lines AD0 to AD7, and port 2 has address lines A8 to A15. The 8 address lines are with the port 0 and 8 address lines are with the port 2. The 8 address lines which are with the port 0 are from AD0 to AD7. Why they are known as AD? AD means address or data. It can be either address or it can be either data when it is connected to external memory. Either data can come through it or address can come through it. So there should be a signal which can decide that which would define that the data which is coming out of these pins are either address or they are data. There should be a signal, and that signal is known as address latch enable. What is that signal? That signal is known as address latch enable. Let's see. Yeah, that signal is known as address latch enable. Address latch enable, as the name is, address latch enable. Address latch enable means whenever the address latch enable pin is 1, that means the output which is coming out from port 0, the output which is coming out from port 0, the output which is coming out from this port, the output which is coming out from this port, this can be address or data, but when address latch enable is 1, that means that whatever is coming out is address only. Fine. And whenever address latch enable pin is 0, that means data is coming out from it. Fine. Whenever it is 0, that means it is data. Whenever 1, it means address. Fine. So you need to connect address latch enable accordingly. Fine. Now how it is connected, how it is used, let's see with an example. What you do when you are connecting 8051, when you are connecting your 8051, let me expand it. Yes, when you are connecting the 8051, when you are connecting the 8051 to the external memory, you are using the address lines. Those address lines are port 0 and port 2. Fine. Now take an example that port 0 address lines are used. Fine. Now they can either contain data and they can either contain address also. So what you do, instead of directly connecting these lines to address lines of the memory, what you do, because data can also be fetched from here, so you connect it to a latch. What is this? This is a latch. What does latch means? Latch means temporary storing data for some time. Latch means temporary storing data for some time. Fine. So please don't go deep into this. What is the 74LS373 and what are the circuit? Don't go deep into this. Whenever this question is asked that you connect an external memory to 8051, what will you do? You will connect the P0. P2 address lines are directly connected. P2 address line you can directly connect. But the lines which are coming from port 0, they should first go to the latch and then they will go to the address lines. Remember this. They will first go to the latch. Fine. You write it 74LS373. That's it. Don't write all these things. Just write 74LS373. So the examiner will know that you have connected these pins to the latch. The output of latch would be connected to the address lines. And how to select this latch? How to select this latch? That would be connected to address latch enable. That means whenever address latch enable is 1, that means it is a address. That's why that would be enable and it will enable the address to the IC. But what if address latch enable is 0? Address latch enable is 0, that means these are data. So this latch would be disabled and address won't go here. The data will be fetched here from here to the data lines of the memory. Fine. I'm again explain the entire thing. How will you do the connection? You have a memory. Fine. The data lines of the memory are already connected to the data lines of port 0 and port 2. Fine. The address line coming from port 2 and port 0, the address lines which are coming from the port 2 can be directly connected to the memory, but the address lines which are coming from port 0, they are not address exactly. They can be address, they can be data, depending upon the value of ALE. So what you do, you connect these lines first to a latch and then from the latch to the address lines of memory. Now this latch has a pin. This latch has a pin which enable it or disable it. So how to enable it? It is directly connected to ALE pin of 8051. Whenever the ALE pin of 8051 is 1, that means these are address. So this should be enabled and address should go here. When it is 0, that means these are data, these are not address. So data should go from this path to this path and this should be disabled because it is 0. So this would be disabled and address should won't go there because these are data. Fine. So this configuration should be done whenever you are connecting your 8051 with the external memory. This configuration should always be done. Fine. You should remember this. Let's go forward. So we have already studied two pins, chip select pin. Remember, we have studied chip select pin. So address lines are connected to these chip select pin, remaining address lines. We have studied external access pin. External access pin will, if it is 1, it means you are using, or 8051 is using, the internal ROM. If external access pin is 0, it means it is using external ROM. You have also studied one more special pin which is known as address latch enable. What will the address latch enable will do? Address latch, this is not active low, so what address latch enable do? When it is 1, it means it is an the port P0 is address. When it is 0, it means the port P0 is data. Fine. Now we have one more pin, very important pin, that is known as PSEN, program store enable. Program store enable pins. What does it mean? Program store enable pin means, as the name suggests, program store enable. That means the program is stored outside the 8051. Program is stored outside the 8051. And where do you store the program? You normally store your program in ROM. Fine. So whenever you are connecting the external ROM to 8051, please remember, whenever you are connecting the external ROM, only ROM, to 8051, external ROM means you are definitely connecting the you are definitely storing the code or your instructions in the external memory. Fine. So whenever you are connecting the external ROM, the PSEN pin, program store enable pin, of what? Of 8051. Where it is? Let's see. The program store enable pin is here. This is the program store enable pin, the pin number 29. This is program store enable pin. So whenever you are connecting the external ROM, that is also known as code ROM. Code ROM means you are storing code in the ROM, external ROM. The program store enable pin should be connected to the chip select pin of external ROM. And there is one more pin. Please remember, there is one more pin, output enable pin. This output enable pin is only for ROM, not for RAM, not for other memories. It is only for ROM. Please remember, there are two pins, output enable pin and chip select pin. Chip select pin is in every external memory, but output enable pin is only in the ROM. Fine. So what you do, you connect the program store enable pin of the 8051 to the chip select and the output enable pin, both. Why do you do that? Because output enable means the ROM can only be read, it cannot be written, it's a read only memory. So you have to enable the reading means getting out from the ROM. So that means there is one pin which is known as output enable. Output enable means enable the output from the ROM. Fine. So whenever you wanted to read, the 8051 wanted to read from the ROM, when the 8051 needs to read from the output from the ROM, what needs to be done? The program store enable pin will be connected to the output enable pin, which is a low pin, active low pin, a chip select pin also. So this is connected to both the chip select and the output enable. What we have learned till now, the chip selection should be connected to the remaining address lines, but in case of ROM, what ROM? Code ROM, code type of ROM, where code is stored. Fine. The chip select should be connected to program store enable, and other memories like RAM, data ROM, you can connect the chip select lines to the remaining address lines. Fine, which we have already studied. But in case of code ROM, the chip select signal should be connected to the program store enable, PSEN signal, and also the output enable pin would be connected to the program store enable. Let's see, we have examples also. See this example. We have a program ROM or code ROM. We can also call it as code ROM or a program ROM. See, we have a program ROM. What is the size? 8K by 8, that means 2 to the power 3 into 2 to the power 10, that means 13 address lines are required. Fine. So 13 address lines needs to be connected. So 8 address lines out of 13, 8 address lines are from port 0, and remaining, how many remaining? 5 are from port 2. Fine. So 8 address lines are from port 0. So those 8 address lines starting from A0 to A7, I'm sorry, AD0 to AD7. Yes, AD0 to AD7, they are connected to the latch because they can be data, they can be address, and then they are connected to the address lines of the memory. Then they are connected to address lines of the memory. Now they are also connected to the data lines because data comes from the port P0, and remaining 5, 8 are already connected, remaining 5 from the port 2, they are directly connected. See, they are directly connected from the microcontroller to the memory. Fine. Now we have to use this chip select. Since it is a program ROM, if it has been RAM, if it has been RAM, then what we have done, the chip enable or chip select, both it can be written. You can write both, chip select or chip enable, both are active low. You have to use this using the remaining address lines. What are the remaining address lines? A13, A14. You have to use A13, A14 to be connected to this chip, this signal. But since this is program ROM, and we have already studied that in case of program ROM, the chip select signal or the chip enable signal, it should be connected to the program store enable. It should be connected to the program store enable. What is program store enable? It means that the program is stored outside of the 8051. So when the program is stored outside of the 8051, it will become 0. What it will do, it will, this is also 0 and this is also 0, so it will enable this chip, and output enable means it will enable it to be read. Fine. So this is the entire diagram, and such question will be asked to you in your exams. Fine. Let's again see this, that you can do this by yourself or not. What you have to do when a question is given, you have to write all the pins of the 8051 which is used for memory interfacing. See, read write pins, these are also used for memory interfacing, and they are used, please remember, they are used only when RAM is connected, not ROM. Fine, we will come to it, when we are connecting, but you have to write read and write and leave it as. See, these are left. Why they are left? Because there is no RAM. Now address pins should be connected. The port 0 address pins are not directly connected, they are connected through latch. And latch, how to control the latch? They are controlled through address latch enable. Let me magnify it. Fine. So how they are connected? The port 0 pins, they are not connected directly, they are connected through a latch. Fine. Don't write all these things, just write latch. You can also write it like this, latch. It's very easy. Now how to enable the latch? You have a special pin known as address latch enable that will differentiate whether this is address or data. After latch, they are connected to the address pins. Fine. And the remaining address pins of the port 2, they are directly connected. It's very easy. Now how to select this IC? The next thing is, to selecting the IC, you have a chip select signal or chip enable signal, both are same, you can write anything. The chip enable signal should be connected to the program store enable pin only in case of ROM. If you have RAM, you need not to connect this. In case of RAM, you have to use the remaining address lines to connect to this chip enable signal. Fine. So in case of ROM, what you have used? You have used program store enable, and that program store enable signal should be connected to chip enable also, and should also be connected to output enable also. That's it, your question is done. This thing is done, and this will fetch you 6 marks in your final exams. Fine. Let's move forward to new example. There's one more thing, that if you connect what we have seen, external access pin equal to VCC. VCC means 1. So when external access pin is 1, what will happen? That you are using external access pin is 1, that means you are using internal memory of 8051. And when external access pin is 0, that means you are using external memory. Fine. So what will happen when you external memory, fine, external ROM, we have an example that if you have 8031 or 8051 system, and if you connect external access pin to ground, ground means 0, that means external memory should be used. So off chip external memory is used. Now if you connect external access pin to VCC, VCC means 1, external access equal to 1 means you have to use on chip ROM. Fine. So what will happen, it will use off chip on chip ROM. But what happens when you try to access the output chip? So what will happen, the instructions are first stored in the on chip ROM, and next instruction exactly after the last instruction will be written in the off chip ROM. Fine. I'll again explain this to you. This is very interesting. See, you have an 8051 system. Fine. In the 8051 you have an external access pin EA. What happens when you connect EA, when you put EA equal to 0, that means you are using external memory, external ROM. And when you have extra EA equal to 1, what does it mean? It means you are using internal ROM. But what if you are using both internal and external ROM? You wanted to use both internal and external ROM. Fine. So what you will do, you have both internal ROM and external ROM. What you will do, if you wanted to use both, start writing your instruction from the first line in the internal ROM. Once last line is achieved, you start writing next line in the external ROM, and put external access pin, which is an input pin, equal to 1. Whenever you put it equal to 1, the 8051 will know that it has to execute the program which is written inside the ROM, because EA equal to 1 means you have to execute the program inside the ROM. So it will start executing the program inside the ROM. Fine. Once it comes to the last line, it will check whether an external memory is connected or not. Please remember, it will check whether the external memory is connected or not. If there is an external memory, it will start executing the next instruction from in the external memory. Only when EA pin is 1. What happens when EA pin is ground? In the same case, when we make EA pin equal to ground, that means 0. What will happen now? Whenever EA pin is 0, that will internally means the program is stored outside the 8051. So it will not see this internal memory. 8051 will ignore the internal memory and it will execute only the program which are stored in the external memory. So to avoid this, we connect the external access pin to VCC. VCC means what? That the program is stored inside the 8051. So it will execute the program inside the 8051. But after the last line, it will check whether there is an external memory or not. Only when EA is VCC. If there is an external memory, it will start executing this instruction. This is how it is done. Fine. I think it is clear to you. Let's move forward. Yeah, we have some examples also. See, if external access pin is 0, what does it mean? It means that the program is stored in the external memory. So if whether you use the internal memory to store the program, it will not check, it will ignore, because you have already used EA equal to 0. Fine. But if you are making EA equal to VCC, that means EA equal to 1, that means you are using internal memory. So it will first execute the internal memory, and if any external memory is connected, then after finishing the internal memory, it will execute the program stored in the external memory. If there is no external memory, then it will keep on executing the program which is inside the internal memory. That's it. So please do these examples, so it will make it more clear. Fine. Now let us move forward to our main questions. These are the questions which would be asked in your exams. This is important thing. Let's see. Now we come to data ROM or RAM. Fine. Data ROM or RAM. Fine. Where we are not saving the instructions, we are saving the data. Fine. Let's come to it. We are not connecting, we are not saving instructions or the code, we are saving the data. In that case, when we are saving the data, in that case we have already read in the previous video lecture that the chip enable signal or the chip select signal, it should be generated how? It should be generated through the remaining address lines. Fine. Let's see what is the example. Example is that it is a 8K by 8 data ROM. Please remember, it's a data ROM. So data ROM, in case of data ROM, the chip select signal or the chip enable signal should be connected to the remaining address lines. So it is connected through the remaining address lines. Fine. Don't ignore these things. What are these? Ignore these things. So these are connected to the remaining address lines. You can connect either through a NAND gate or you can connect either through the decoder chip, which we have already studied today in our today's lecture. Fine. So you can connect both. You can either connect the decoder or you can connect the NAND gate as it is connected here to the chip select signal. Fine. Now what is the requirement? Requirement is the to the power 13 address lines. Requirement is 13 address lines. Fine. So let us see how this question is done. First let's see what is the type of memory. The type of memory is data RAM, data ROM. In that case, the chip enable signal should be connected to the remaining address lines. First we need to understand what are the lines which are connected. Total 13 lines need to be connected. 8 lines are connected from the port 0 and remaining 5 lines 8 and 2 3 5 lines, remaining 5 lines are connected A8 to A12. 5 lines are connected directly from port 2 to external ROM, and the 8 lines from the port 0, they are connected through the latch. Please remember this, they are connected through the latch, and this latch is enabled by address latch enable. The same lines of port 0 are also connected to the data lines, and the output enable pin of the data ROM, because it's a ROM will have a signal, a pin which is known as OE. ROM will have a signal which is known as OE. Why? Because OE means output enable, because ROM can be read only, it cannot be write. It can be write only once, you cannot write it again and again. So it will have a pin which is known as output enable. That means whether you are enabling the output, whether you are wanted to read the memory or not. So it will have a pin which is known as output enable. That output enable pin, when you are connecting the program ROM, please remember, when you are connecting the program ROM, what you are doing, you are using the program store enable. The name program means only for program ROM. So you are connecting the program ROM pin to both what, output enable pin and chip enable pin. But what, when you are using the data ROM, in case of data ROM, you have to connect the read signal, RD bar, the read signal to the output enable pin, and chip enable signal you have to generate using the remaining address lines. It's very easy. This will fetch you 6-7 marks in your final exam. I'm again repeating, this is very easy. What you have to do, you have to remember some signals, that there is a program store enable signal. It will be employed only when you are using the program memory. Here what you are using? You are using the data memory. See, you are using the data memory, and that too, that is ROM, this is not RAM. If it was RAM, you have to use both read and write, because RAM can be read also and it can be written also. So you have to use both read and write signal. But since it is a ROM, so you are using only read signal. And where read signal is connected, this is connected to the output enable pin. What it was a code type memory. If it was a code type memory, the output terminal signal should have been connected to the program store enable. Fine. You have to remember all these things, and your question is complete. This much would be asked in your final exams. So you have to draw a neat and clean diagram which will connect the 8051 with the external memory. So let us take some more examples that would be more clear to you. You leave all these things. This is what? This is the programming. This is the programming part. So in your course we are not covering the programming of external memory. If anybody wanted to read this, they can read this, but this is not significant. That's why I am leaving this. Let's move to other examples. See, you have one example. Let's see what this example is asking. You have a 8031 system. Don't confuse between 8031 and 8051. Both are same. 8031 means it has no internal memory. You have an 8031 system which is to be connected to 8 kilobytes of program ROM and 8 kilobytes of data ROM. What you have? You have two external memory, data ROM and program ROM. Both have same size, 8 kilobytes. 8 kilobyte means 8 kilobytes. 8 kilobyte means 2 to the power 13. Fine. 13 address lines are required. Fine. Let's see. 13 address lines are required. The first thing, you should calculate that how many address lines are required and how many data lines are required. How many data lines are required? See, definitely it's a ROM, so 8 data lines are required. Fine. So 8 data lines and 13 address lines. So first you do what you do, you directly draw the memories. You have two memories, just draw it. You have two memories, just draw it. Now you have one 8051, just draw it. Now you have to connect the 8 data pins from the 8051 to both the memories. Fine. So what you do, you take the data pins from port 0 and you connect all these 8 pins to this memory also and to this memory also. This is the first thing, it's done. Now second thing, the remaining the remaining 5 pins, because you need 8 to the power 8, that means 13. So remaining 5 pins will be taken from the port 2, and those 5 pins can be directly connected to the memory. You connect it like this, and if you have space in your copies, you can also connect it like this. If you don't have a space, it can be connected like this through this memory from here to here. It automatically knows that this line is connected to this also and this also. Fine. Second thing is done, address lines are connected. Now the address lines which are coming from port P0, they will not go directly into the memory, they will go through the latch. We have already studied this. They will go to the latch, and just write it like latch. Don't write all these things, don't make all these diagrams, just write latch. Fine. So it will go through the latch through to the first memory, and same lines will go into the second memory. Now this latch should be enabled or disabled. So a signal should come from 8051, that is known as address latch enable. That will define that whether this is an address or a data. Fine. Now this is done. Now come to the, let's come one by one. So address lines are finished, data lines are finished. Now you decide which one is your program ROM, which one is your data ROM. This is your data ROM, you have already defined. Now the chip select signal or chip enable signal of data ROM, remember data ROM or data RAM, that should be connected to the remaining address lines. You have already used the 13 address lines. How many address lines are remaining? 16 address lines are there, so 3 address lines are remaining. So you have used those 3 address lines. Don't write all these things, don't write this NAND gate. Directly connect these 3 address lines through a NAND gate. You can use a NAND gate also, you can use a decoder latch also, I have already explained. So you use a NAND gate and connect to the data ROM. but what will happen to the chip select signal of program ROM? In case of program ROM, where you connect this chip select signal? You connect this chip select signal to the program store enable pin of 8051. You connect this chip select signal or the chip enable signal to the program store enable pin of 8051. Fine. And the same signal should be connected to the output enable of program ROM. Fine. Now this is the data ROM. Now chip select is completed. We are getting one by one. Chip select signal is completed. Now you have output enable pin on ROM, especially on ROM. It is not on RAM. Please remember, on ROM you have chip enable this output enable signal. The output enable signal of data ROM should be connected to the read pin. Should be connected to the read pin. Fine. And the output enable signal of the program ROM, it is already connected to the program store enable. Fine. And your question is done. That's it. You have to remember these connections itself. Fine. And your entire question is done. It's very easy. Let us take one more example. I think there's one more example in this slide. We'll tell that example also, and then our class is finished. This is what data RAM. See, there's one more example of data RAM. We have covered data ROM, we have covered code ROM, program ROM. We have not covered the data ROM, RAM. Now we are covering the RAM. Please remember, this is a RAM. So RAM, the chip select signal will be taken from remaining address line, and the program store enable signal should not be used here. Why? Because program store enable signal is only used for ROM, not RAM. Fine. So program store enable signal is left as it is. It is not used. Fine. Now in RAM, which I've already told, you have to use the signal read and write, which are coming out from the 8051. See, which are coming from the 8051. So we have to use this read and write signal. Read will be connected to the output enable signal, which is similar to the ROM. Fine. So read will be connected to the output enable signal. That means you are trying to read it, and when you are trying to write it, there is one more pin you have to remember, that is known as write enable. Because RAM can be read also, it can be write also. Now when you wanted to write on the RAM, there's a pin which is known as write, which is coming from the 8051, that would be connected to the pin write enable. See, this is output enable, that means you wanted to read, and this is write enable, that means you wanted to write. So you have to connect the write enable pin to the write bar pin of 8051, and that's it. Your question is done. If that was a code type of ROM or data type of ROM, in that case there would be no write enable signal. Why? Because you cannot write ROM. Fine. So there was only output enable signal. And if it was a code type, it should be connected to program store enable. And if it is a data type, it should be connected to read signal. That's it. So you have to remember only these things, and your question is done. Fine. Let's see one last example. I think there is one more example. Yeah, there's one more example. This is the 8K by 8. Fine. And it is using the address line. So this is the same. This is the ROM, which can be either used as program or either used as data. It can be used as program also, it can be used as data also. This is a question, this is a good question. What it is doing, it is using the same ROM for data also and from program also. Since it is using the ROM for both program and data, please remember, when you are using the ROM for program, then the output enable signal should be connected to program store enable, and when you are using it for data, it should be connected to read bar. But here you are using for both purpose. So both signals, read signal as well as program signal, they cannot be clubbed. they can be clubbed only through a gate. So you employ a AND gate, and you connect the output of the AND gate to the output enable signal. Why you have done so? Because AND gate, the output of the AND gate will be 0 only when any one of the input is 0. Either if this is 0 or this is 0. When both are 1, the output will remain 1, and that will not work. Fine. So that means if you are using it for program, then also this chip is enabled, and if you are using this for data, then also this chip is selected, enabled. Fine. I think this is clear to you. It's very easy. Let's see. Yeah, there's one more example. This is good example. We will do this example, then we'll end the class. That's it. What is in this example? In this example, you have been given 16K by 8 data RAM, 16K by 8 data ROM, and 16K by 8 program ROM. 3 memories has to be connected. Now, please remember, all are 16K. 16K means how many lines are required? 16K. 16K means how many lines are required? 2 to the power 10. And how much is 16? It is 2 to the power 4. That means 14 address lines are required. Fine. Now 14 address lines, 8 address lines are taken from P0, and remaining is how much? 6 address lines are taken from port P2. Fine. Now these address lines are connected to the latch, and this is connected to latch enable. Now these address lines are shared to all the memories. The data lines are also shared to all the memories. Fine. Now we have to remember which is code type and which is data type. This is data type, this is data type. So since both are data type, so chip enable signal should be taken from the remaining address lines. How many address lines are remaining? Only 2 address lines are remaining. So we can take simple NAND gate also, and if you want, you can take a this decoder latch also. So you have taken a decoder latch. Decoder latch has 3 inputs. So rest of the inputs are grounded, or you can take it 1 also, and only 2 inputs are taken here. And any out of 7 pins, any 2 pins are connected to chip enable signal of data RAM. Fine. And where this chip enable signal of program ROM will be connected, that would be connected to program store enable. Yes, that would be connected to program store enable, and both output enable pin and the chip enable pin, this should be connected to program enable. And since you are using one as ROM, this as ROM, what kind of ROM? Data ROM. So output enable signal would be connected to where? Read bar. Yes. And this is RAM. This is RAM. So RAM has both write enable and output enable. Where it would be connected? This would be connected to read bar and write bar of the 8051, and your 7 number question is done. That's it. So you have to remember this only. Everything is done. So your memory interfacing is done, and these types of question would be asked in your final exams. So please do this exercise in your copies, so that it won't be difficult for you to sketch these connections. Fine. And that's it. Our 4th unit is completed. It consists of only memory interfacing. So our 4th unit is completed. Fine. Thank you, and that's it.